Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our regular council meeting for Tuesday, November 13th. And as you can see, we have a few empty seats, and I'm sitting in just one over. So our Mayor Marcel Roy is away, so is Councillor Richards away, and our City Manager Matthew is also away. So we got things in control, right, guys? There we go. I'd like to also introduce tonight to you our student representative from our junior council, and Maya Kneff is here with us to take part. And I think this is your first visit to council on acting for this junior council, so welcome. She says she has a whole bunch of questions for Councillor Mickle, so we'll let that happen as it may, because he deserves it. Council, we have had a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting for the regular council and the strategic planning. Is there any errors or omissions in those minutes? If not, could I have a motion to pass the minutes as presented?
I'll make the motion that the minutes are accepted as presented.
Thank you. And a seconder, please.
I'll second that motion, Your Worship.
Councillor Van Vetju, thank you. Any questions then? All in favor? That's carried unanimously. Is there any additions from management tonight for our meeting? Laura or Dan? Okay. From council, any additions this evening? Okay, we'll move on then. This evening we have a delegation that is here from the Southeast Regional Library Delegation. And so at this time, I'd like to call on Matt and Jim to come and make your presentations to council and to the public also.
Hi, I am Jim Linnell, Chair of the Weyburn Public Library Board. I first of all want to, if you guys have not been around for a little while, I want to invite you back to the library. Programming numbers for the library have been steadily increasing and continue to increase. One of the pieces that we can't actually break down and show you tonight, between the Weyburn Public Library and the regional board, there's no separation from any of the e-books or e-learning, e-catalogs, anything that you can borrow over the internet comes as a regional basis. So all the numbers that we're going to be presenting tonight are Weyburn only and real hands-on hardcore material. Some of the, Matt, maybe what I can do is get you to hand out the programming highlights that come through for each of you. You can see everything that's been worked on for the last probably 3 to 6 months in earnest on some of the changes that are coming. You'll probably see some of the programming and advertising that's coming out through the regional board, which is essentially coming back, inviting people back to the library because it's not the library that you remember. The hush, quiet, no nonsense kind of thing. It's going back to the basis of community learning, lifelong learning. You can see some of the reports that Matt, or some of the items that Matt has put together on the priorities, the ranges that we've gone through. This is available. I think Matt can probably make copies at the front desk at the library. But a couple of things I want to bring your attention to is coming right down, and well, we're keeping everything as we roll through free. There are exceptions to every rule, but it's pretty hard to have an exception for free. As you can see on some of the pamphlets that go through, and we're going to hand the numbers out in just a minute here, the 3D printer that we've got at the library is starting to become more and more active as we get people trained up. And I want to let everybody know here as well that the training is available at the library for any of the CAD or computer-aided design that goes into this. The only thing we ask is that people pay for just the material, because we have to cover costs. We've gone outreach on a whole bunch of things. If you turn to page 2, annual events, Cookies, Carols, and Cards is coming up on December 13. There's a whole bunch of programming coming up, whether it's children's programming or adult programming. So maybe what I'll go to that is go to the numbers next, which is where we've been, and we put together a graph. Go ahead, Matt. Oh. I actually did it too, just to show everybody where it stands, and maybe give the guides at the same time, the November pieces, please. And I refrain from introducing Matt, who is the Weyburn branch manager at the Weyburn Public Library. Just started about, Matt, a month ago? 6 weeks ago? Okay. So the numbers that are coming out right now to do with the programming are simply this year over last year. If you have a look at the left-hand columns, complete year-to-date, Matt, is that 2017 numbers complete years? Yeah, complete years. And 2018 numbers on the right are year-to-date numbers only. So you can see we're actually coming up very well. We've got more programming all the time. I think we're going to probably have a very, very, very good year. The other item that, did you hand out the program?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So the November programming, if you turn to that one for a second, you can see in there each of the individual programs that we've got coming up along with a calendar. And the calendar itself, if you can find room for anything else that is of interest to anybody in this room, anybody that listens to this broadcast, please come in and get some information. It is available to the public. All we ask is that you go ahead and sign up for a Weyburn Public Library card. And I do want to thank you.
You're very welcome. Matthew, is there anything you'd like to comment on?
I'd just like to introduce myself, if that's okay.
Sorry?
I'd just like to introduce myself, if
Yes,
that's okay.
please.
Councillors, thank you for inviting me tonight. My name is Matthew Rankin. So, as Jim explained, I'm the new branch manager for Weyburn, and I've been in the position for about a month and a half now. Originally, I'm from Ontario, a town called Penetanguishene, and it's about 2.5 hours north of Toronto. Professionally, I've worked in public libraries in and around Central Ontario for about 6 years after graduating from the University of Western Ontario. And this is my first time living in Saskatchewan. I'm very excited to be here. Weyburn's lived up to its reputation as a welcoming community. Everyone I've met, both inside and outside the library, has been amazing and very friendly. And I'd like to thank you for your time. So.
Good, thank you.
Sure.
Yes.
Maybe you can answer, I'm sorry, maybe you can answer, or Jim or Diane certainly can.
Sure.
The Weyburn Library does so many great things in this community. I was on the library board for a few years, and you have a veteran, Diane Sanders, that is exceptionally good person on this board, and Jim, you'll do it very good as well. My comment is, how can people in Weyburn find out what you actually do there? I mean, you have a website where they can track it and find out?
Yeah.
Because I have questions that people ask, what's going on there? What's going on there?
Absolutely, and whether it's Facebook or some social media events that we're holding, and we will be coming up with more advertising. So Matt, maybe you could speak to some of those other social media programs that we have rolling.
Yep. So primarily we have our website where we post basically like the program guide, and we have announcements if we're closed or if there's a special speaker. Mainly we tend to post information on our Facebook page, and that way we get to communicate with people, and then we have a lot more a wider audience that we can reach out to. Again, I'm still fairly new in the role, so I'm learning about what works and what gets the word out on items, but mainly it's Facebook at this point. And we also have a Twitter account and I believe Instagram, but yeah, but mainly Facebook.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. And we'll be hearing from your committee in closed council after this. Danette, do we have motions passed around? We do? Okay, I guess we got them. Okay, there is no reports for standing committee, so we'll go right into the consent agenda for the water treatment plant report.
Your worship, I'll make a motion that the consent agenda consisting of the water treatment plant report for October 2018 be accepted as presented.
Thank you.
Your worship, I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Any questions, council? If not, all in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Go to council payable, and we will entertain a motion at this time, please.
I'd like to make the motion that the purchases in the amount of $1,565,134.55 from October 19th to November 8th, 2018 be passed for payment.
Thank you. Seconder, please.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Mickle. Any discussion? Any questions? If not, then all in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Introduction of bylaws. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sorry. December meetings for council dates. And as we see that our second meeting would fall on December 24th, and my grandchildren would be upset with me if I was sitting in a council meeting. So we have a motion to readjust our second council meeting. So we'll take
Yes,
that motion at this time, please.
I'd like to make the motion. I'd like to make the motion that regularly scheduled meeting of council for December 24th, 2018 be canceled and rescheduled to be held on December 17th at 5 p.m. in council chambers.
Seconder, please.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Thank you. Any other discussion? So that means that we'll meet actually 2 weeks in a row, which will be a little different. We have gone before, believe, and only had one council meeting in December, but we feel we have enough on the agenda to keep us busy, so that's why we want to make this 2 weeks in a row to take care of business. All in favor? Thank you. Carried unanimously. Introduction of bylaws, and I will call on Director of Finance Masal to address this for us, please, on the maintenance and abatement bylaw.
Actually, I
Okay.
can speak to that as I attend police commission meetings, and I do just wanted to let you know that the police chief actually has recommended that we add a schedule of fines to the property maintenance and nuisance bylaw just to deal with unsightly properties. This will help them expedite the process, hopefully, of getting properties cleaned up and make it easier for the police to enforce. So he's asked for this amendment, and it is just basically adding a schedule of fines to the bylaw.
Okay. And so with that schedule of fines that we've read, it is taking not a shortcut, but it is just making it easier for these things to not drag on, is what we're looking at.
That's correct. It's almost like a step before the steps that we're at now. So this would be an initial step for them to lay charges, and then further to, if they don't follow the order, then there could be a second set of fees. And it used to be, it would take us approximately 6 weeks before we could start seeing any kind of progress. This will really expedite the process and get these properties cleaned up so we can get it done in the summer
right.
and get them done quicker.
And we have seen on this in the past that this can drag out almost all summer long without this step being taken. So is there a motion for this, Jeanette? Thank you.
Yes, I will make that motion, that bylaw 2018-3389 to amend bylaw 2004-3021, being the property maintenance and abatement bylaw for the city of Weyburn, be read a first time.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Thank you. Any other discussion from council? If not, all in favor?
I will make a motion that bylaw 2018-3389 to amend bylaw 2004-3021, being the property maintenance and abatement bylaw for the city of Weyburn, be read a second time.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councillor Mickle. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously.
I will make a motion that bylaw 2018-3389 to amend bylaw 2004-3021, being the property maintenance and abatement bylaw for the city of Weyburn, be giving 3 readings at this meeting.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? It's carried unanimously.
And one last, I'll make a motion that bylaw 2018-3389 to amend bylaw 2004-3021, being the property maintenance and abatement bylaw for the city of Weyburn, be read a third time and passed.
I'll second that.
And any discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you for that. I think that will help for sure our work within the community to keep our especially our back alleys are where we had lots of, I shouldn't say lots of issues, but some issues, and it's just a tool to work with to make it happen a little cleaner and a little better. Under new business, the water treatment plant 200 upgrade, and ask Acting Engineer Phil here if he has some comments on this.
I don't have comments.
You have no comments?
No comment.
Okay, that's fine. I think we'll just maybe leave this, or do you have anything on it, Danette, you can pass on?
I could certainly read our Director of Engineering, Keshta's report, and he was hoping to get approval tonight, but I can certainly read his report for you if you'd like. There was actually a report he received from KGS Group, and KGS Group provided a detailed design of upgrades to Plant 200 at the Weyburn Water Treatment Plant 200, filtration systems, mechanical, electrical, and instrumentation components required to achieve full system automation. This work is being partially funded through the Clean Water and Wastewater Fund with a total budget of $984,850. The primary scope of work was assessing requirements for the removal of all existing electrical instrumentation components, preparing a design for installing mechanical electrical components, and installing programming a new Allen Bradley logic control system. The construction activities was awarded to Clark Supply and Services Limited at a cost of $946,500. KGS Group proposes providing engineering services during the construction phase to promote the success of the project, manage the contract and monitor progress, and provide assistance during the commissioning of the various plant modifications. The total work for the proposed work is $33,600 excluding taxes. KGS proposed an optional service for upgrading the controls and programming Plant 100 at an added cost of $6,458 excluding taxes. The Director of Engineering is recommending that Council accept the proposal for both providing engineering services for $33,600, as well as the optional services for upgrading the controls and programming Plant 100 for $6,458. So that total cost for both items would be $40,058, and he is asking if Council would approve this tonight.
Thank you. And our Director of Engineering had to leave at last minute this afternoon for personal reasons. So do we have a motion then on the floor for this, please? Someone has a motion?
Yes, sorry, Your
Yep, there we go.
Worship. I'll make a motion that the bid of KGS Group to provide engineering services during the construction phase of the Water Treatment Plant 200 upgrade project in the amount of $33,600 excluding taxes be approved, and further that Council approve the optional service from KGS for upgrading the controls and programming Plant 100 at an added cost of $6,458 excluding taxes, and the funding come from the Engineering Administration Consulting budget in the amount of $40,058 excluding taxes.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Thank you. Any questions from Council? And I think our discussion before was this was all within our budget of this project, so anything? If not, all in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Thank you, Danette. Water Treatment Plant 200, that's all under one thing on there. Okay. Just familiarizing myself. I guess we have gone through Council fairly quickly here. One more, sorry. Okay, there was some other stuff here before that. I hadn't got to that yet. So on inquiry announcements, before we get down to 12. Do 12A first, okay. Councillor Nickel, please.
Thank you so much, Your Worship. I wish to make a notice of motion on the following statement: that the Weyburn City Council approve an adjustment in remuneration of 8.5%, which is outside the current City Council remuneration policy as a result of removal of a one-third tax exemption for municipal elected officials to come into effect January 1st, 2019. After saying that, Your Worship, I just have a couple of comments to clarify what this really means.
Sure.
A longstanding federal tax exemption for elected municipalities and provincial officials will expire January 1st, 2019. As a result, City of Weyburn elected officials will see a decrease in the after-tax compensation of around 8.5%. The objective of the motion I put forward this evening is to protect Weyburn's officials from an arbitrary pay cut imposed by the federal legislation and to recognize the time commitments of municipal duties. You can find more information on the city's website, and this motion will be presented at the November 26th meeting of regular council. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor Mickle. Is there anyone else that wants to discuss what this motion is about? That will come back to us on next regular council meeting for the first reading.
Yes, actually, it will be a motion presented at the November 26th council meeting. Yeah, and
Okay,
I will have
thank
that on
you.
the agenda.
Thank you. Any other discussion on it from anyone? Okay. Let's go to inquiries and announcements. Is anything from the floor? Councillor Mickle.
When Your Worship, thank you very much. Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, the Walk of Fame deadline is fastly approaching. December 31st is the deadline. Information on this can be taken from our city website, or you can come in and talk to Danette. She has all the information for that event. So the deadline, again, is December 31st. This usually takes, the presentation or plaque ceremony usually takes action the first week of June, which is not that far around the corner. So again, December 31st. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mickle. Anyone else? I just had one that I would like to bring to everyone's attention. It's that time of the year where it's Family Place's Christmas tree celebration and auction, and it's a huge fundraiser for that organization in our city. And I would suggest to say that it is probably one of their biggest fundraisers that they do. Very well attended. So setup is this coming Monday, the 19th, and Councillor Chessel has offered New Age Motorsports building for that, so that's the first time we've been in there for that, Jeff, so thank you for doing that. And the Christmas tree auction actually and everything is a week later this year, so the auction takes place on the 29th, that's the Thursday, the 29th. I think everything starts around 6 o'clock as usual, so lots of room. I invite everybody to come down, look at the job that the community does for the Family Place on this. Come out and see it. It's unbelievable, the activities that night and all week for, well, it goes on for almost 10 days for them to start and get things set up. So just an invite out there to come down and participate. You don't have to buy anything. Just come down and take a look around because it really will put you in the Christmas spirit. So anything from the media tonight? Any questions? Nothing? Then I say we adjourn our meeting.